I am so glad you are here. I'm so glad you're here. This is Liz at Megas Books and Herbs, and it is Herby Thursday in my world. So we are going to talk about this beauty. Doesn't that have a gorgeous red and orange tone to it? This is madder. And it matters. I couldn't resist. It's true. We've got it associated with fire, which the red color kind of gives that away, and masculinity, also because Mars is red, right? That's Mars, and it's a masculine symbol, and it's a red root. So of course, there's a logical thing there. Cautions for this: my goodness, don't eat this without appropriate supervision, and definitely don't eat it if you are or would like to become pregnant anytime soon. That said, this is something that you can, if you have a wooden wand, magical wand, you can soak it in this to dye it a red color to add that extra vitality and oomph that Mars and red bring to any magical working. It's also associated with love spells, not to keep love, not to like foster commitment or relationship. It is to attract someone to you, and not a specific someone, just your generic, I want to be open to love. I want to be the most, attractive person in the room. Basically, I'm going to use matter that's going to get everything flowing energetically between myself and people who might be attracted to me so that I can get into a relationship. That's the magic, the love magic of matter. This is a traditional dye material. Like I said, you can dye a wand with it. It's the reason the British red coats were red. This is the original dye for that. So you can get quite a good color out of this if you do want to dye with it. And dyeing a t-shirt to wear on a day when you're feeling a little down and you need a little energy pick-me-up, that would be perfect with this. What kind of color will you get? It depends. It depends on the fabric you're using, and it depends on the mordant you're using. What the heck's a mordant? It's something you add into the dye liquid, the dye bath, and let it affect the chemistry of the herb that you're using. So it might be a little bit of iron, for example, will change the color. But there are all kinds of mordants and all kinds of ways of affecting how this dyes fabric, but it's a great dye for woods, for fabrics, all kinds of fun stuff. You could theoretically, therefore, take the dye stuff and end up using it as a paint. It'd be tough to get enough to use as a paint, but it's possible. It's been done. You got to be a real hobbyist for that one. But if you want to add some extra verb, some extra energy, think about madder root the same way that some people think about dragon's blood, as something you add on to generate that sort of young masculine energy into what you're doing, that kind of enthusiasm, that kind of assertiveness. I always think of Mars as a 20-year-old guy versus Jupiter, who I'm going to say is like a 45-year-old guy. They both want to prove they're a man, and they go to the bar. So think stereotypes here. 20-year-old gets into a fight, 45-year-old buys a round of drinks for everybody at the bar. Kind of encapsulates martial energy and Jupiterian energy very nicely. And this is the herb for that martial sort of 20-year-old guy energy. I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna get it done. It's gonna be mine. It's gonna be a fabulous life. That's what matter is all about. That's why I made a good dye for those red coats, right? And they did get quite an empire while they were still using this herb to dye their coats. Just saying. They lost a few, but they won a lot, right? In any event, this has been used medicinally, mostly for its antimicrobial properties, which is why it's not good during pregnancy. I wouldn't use it during nursing, and there's a whole host of people who just can't take it. This yellow frame for us signifies no during pregnancy and nursing, and the blue frame signifies that there are people out there who should not eat this. Sort of a catch-all for maybe you're on the wrong kind of medication. It won't mix well with this. Maybe you have a health issue that this could exacerbate. This is one to use with caution. A lot of caution in this case. So play safe with your herbs. Enjoy them. This does not mean, by the way, that you can, if you bought some matter, that you can like draw a line across your tongue with the piece of the root and see what it tastes like. You can get away with that for the most part. I would just leave it alone, though, if I were actually pregnant or trying to be. In the meantime, have a wonderful, safe week. We will see you again soon, I'm sure. This is Liz on behalf of all the staff and myself here at Megas Books in Minneapolis and online at magisbooks.com. We thank you all for all the magical things that you can do, including liking, subscribing, sharing, all that jazz.